It is a Friday morning, and we are out on the top of a mountain. Just forest all around. This place is nice. This is the place I've been trying to get to for a few months now. One of the places that came recommended from people my girlfriend interacts with, because I don't interact with too many people, but she likes to go out and ask for me, which is nice because she works with people at a school and I work with people online who don't live here. Anyway, this is a place I've tried to come to a few times. The first one was back after the beginning of the year, I want to say, when I got the car fully registered and situated so that I could drive around, and I came out. I tried to come out here and the road was closed to snowmobiles only, and so I just sat in the snow for a few hours and watched and saw nothing. And then I tried coming here not that long ago, maybe a month or two ago, and the road was closed at a different spot, like actually leading up to the mountain. But then, funny enough, my girlfriend did just the other day say that she read online that they opened the road up, and yeah, they have, and I've come up, and it's quite nice. Now, it's a Friday morning at like 6 a.m. I've seen one car throughout the entire mountainous area that I've driven. I haven't gone all over, but I found a good spot to pull over, and I'm going to go walk around for a minute. We'll see what we can see. Okay, I drove a little bit further. I found an area that I could park into with access to the trail instead of just a little campground area. And I'm going to walk the trail for a bit. It's cold today, to be real. It said it was 40 back in town. I guess I could stand somewhere where you can see. Too much. It said it was 40 back in town, and then the car was reading 36 when I just got out of it. I'm guessing it's closer to actually freezing, and I don't have a whole bunch of layers. I have some because I was like, oh, 40 will be cold, but it's gonna warm up the longer I'm out here, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I'm gonna set up the camera I brought. I went light today. I just have the pocket and the gimbal, and I'm just gonna walk the trail and film as I go. Kind of scout this area out today was all I was really planning to do. My hope was, A, is the road open, can I actually get up the mountain, and B, now let's start looking for areas, because if this is a good spot, if it's as empty as it is, which I know it can't stay this way, there's no way, it's too nice, everything's amazing. People will be here, maybe on weekends, but you do what you do. If I can get out early enough, maybe I can find some good spots and get some wildlife footage. I hear some birds, but I've yet to see anything. We'll see. Let's get packing. Well, something caught my eye, and I walked over to see what it was. There's a fence running 50 feet away from the trail, and I saw a stick in the fence. Well, a branch, really. It's big and thick. And I went over to look at it because I never thought about. I've never lived on a farm, lived on anywhere where that had to put up barbed wire. I never thought about the fact that you need to tension it in order to get it to actually run straight across. And one of my 40-hour weekday job had me researching a tool the other day that you use to ratchet it down and tension it, which they could be using branches here for that, which makes sense because there's a pair of them that are in the fence, in the barbed wire wrapped around a certain area where they could have used that to tension it down and tighten it up. But then I got distracted by the fact that it wasn't dark wood, it's burned wood. People have been having a campfire right next to there, and it burned it all up. I mean, the logs they're fine, they're fence posts, they're big, but it just seems careless unless it was on purpose, which I can't see why they would do that. I've gone much further than I thought I would. I was expecting to go along the main trail, and then there was a little part where it would dip down onto a side trail and come back up. I missed the coming back up part and just continued all the way along. I've now hit about the edge of as far as I can go. I finally found a landmark that I could recognize, which is the border of somebody's private land, but I did. Smart. I can't do everything because there's an app specifically that would do offline GPS tracking. Google Maps does it well, but it doesn't have images. I can't get like a satellite image to kind of tell what my surroundings are, which would only be somewhat useful. But anyway, there's an app that they suggest, and I've seen it in different places. I've heard different people suggest it before, like the official State Department's website and things like that. And they had that on the sign when I showed up. It was like, here you are at this location. Download so you can see the trail as you go. And I went, that's a great idea. I don't have signal, so I can't download anything. But I took pictures of the map like I always do, because I know I don't ever want to get stuck into a situation where I'm out in an unfamiliar area with nothing. Now, I'm sticking to trails, but still, I'm going to, I took pictures of the map, so I'm able to check and see, and yeah, that's, this fence right over here is the corner of private land, which means that if I go alongside it, I'll get back to the main trail that will take me back to the car. Time has flown. I checked, let's see, I got out here right around 6, just after, and I took my time going. It's 9:30. It's been over 3 hours of walking. It doesn't feel like it. I didn't think that was, I would have guessed it was an hour or two, maybe 3, and I'm only halfway, so which means it might take me another 3 to get back. Oof. I brought some snacks and I got water, so I'll be all right, but I've gone much further than I ever thought I would. That was not my intention. It's nice. It's just forest, not too much wildlife, but it's nice and peaceful out. So, I'm gonna head back now. A lot of walking. See if I can't map out if it didn't keep track of just how far it was, but made it back to the car. Ready to take a break. I'll drive around. That trail's nice for walking, nice for getting trail footage, but wildlife, not so much. Which makes sense. Windows rolled down. It's a little warm in here. When I've come out before to different places, especially back in Georgia where there was plenty of mountains, but not so much wildlife that I could find. That's not true. I would find some. So it makes sense. Some of the places that I've found wildlife, mostly when you go to a forest, it's not in the middle of the forest. I've walked through forest before and haven't found any wildlife there. And I saw a few birds, but for the most part, they're at the clearings. Like, this is pretty much a clearing. It's clear-ish. It's certainly not as thick as the forest, but it's the edge of it, right? And so there's plenty of trees, and then birds will hang out and swoop down and get bugs out of the clearings where they have clear paths, things like that. Or water. Water's really useful. Everything drinks. Haven't found any water up here, which it's the top of the mountain and it snows many feet, so there's no snow now. It's all gone, which it's got to be going somewhere, right? There's got to be water, a collection of it. It runs down off the mountain, so I'm surprised I didn't even find like a creek or anything at any point while I'm up here. Maybe this isn't the highest mountain. maybe there's somewhere else, and so it runs differently. I don't know. I'm just guessing and speculating now. Anyway, I'm going to drive around more, since I've never been to this mountain before, and see what other spots might look good. Maybe find some more areas that wildlife could be. Even if I don't see anything today. It is 10:40, so it was over 4 hours, and now that makes sense. It only really took me an hour and a half to walk back. That was more walking. The walk out, I first of all walk slowly. I'm looking around. My goal is not to get as much distance as possible. I was shooting, and I would walk a few feet and go, ooh, that's interesting, and stop and get video of that. So that's why. Let me see if it tracked how far distance-wise on the phone. Stop. I don't know why I'm trying to do this into the sunlight. That's not very smart. It tracked 4.5 miles with over 10,000 steps. Much further than I usually do in any scenario. I don't walk that far, but I'm pleasantly surprised I was able to do it. My legs are fine. Back hurt a little bit because of how much stuff I was carrying. I haven't really done a lot of that, but I'm really glad to see that the biking I've been doing has paid off. I've never done exercise, really, of anything. I did karate for a while when I was a teenager. That's about the closest to regular exercise I've ever gotten. But I made a decision to try to do this, right? And so I'm going out more at weekends and things like that. And one of the things I've talked about, and I bought shortly after the first of the year, was an exercise bike. And since then, I've pretty consistently, there may be an off week here or there, but consistently 4 days a week when I clock out of work, I get on the exercise bike and I ride at least 5 miles. Early on, there was much more motivation. I was doing more like 8 miles, and now it's more like, I cut it back a bit, but the time is getting a little quicker, which is nice. I'm actually building a resistance. There's never really a way to see because I don't go out and I don't do things like this. But yeah, that clearly helped because I'm good. I could keep walking. I'm tired and I'm hungry a little, but I could keep walking no problem if I wanted to. I won't, but I could without hurting myself, which is nice. That's the resistance I've been hoping to build. So good to see. Now let's drive around and see what I can see. Okay, well, we made it all of 200 feet. It was a little further than that, but it's out of sight. I did see some people camping over on the side. They've got nice big RV and stuff like that. Anyway, I found another trail that specifically has signs and stuff. I want to go see what the signs say, so I'm just pulled over real quick so I can go look. It was a sign of the map of the area and the trails. A little bit more information than the other one where I parked and walked it, the trail system there. And then another sign that was giving like a descriptive information about the sagebrush, which was pretty cool. Well, I drove up a little bit, and I have found an overlook that I will definitely be getting footage of. Something I saw when I was driving in was this hut right here. It's kind of an information center, it says. I want to see what kind of information they have. It's called an environmental education area, and it is just a little gazebo with signs all over. Very informative, talking about the different things. Apparently there's a lot of wildlife here, but it confirmed my theory that I've tested, more or less. What I was thinking of, they talk about, yeah, you could walk through the forest and not see much, but then you get to the edge where two different ecosystems combine, right? Like if you have a spring right next to the edge of the forest, you've got birds who are up on the top of the edge of the forest, you've got wildlife down who need water. There's a car. So I learned quite a bit from that education area, which was its point, which is great. I'm sure that they bring kids out here, the Boy Scouts. That was one of the ones mentioned on this big sign here that talks about. I see a bird. One of the things on the sign that I specifically read was showing a map of the area that showed, ooh, this battery's about to die. It showed water, a spring, a couple different springs, and we'll be driving right past one, so that's what I'm going to do on my way out of here, is see if I can see it from the road and pull over and go look, and that'll probably be the last thing because I am getting hungry. It is getting close to midday, and the heat, and I am tired. I set up the GoPro to do a time lapse of the drive from this mountain over through the next mountain so you could see, because the landscape is gorgeous. And then I saw a place to pull off a side road for overlooking, and man, the view. So I just jumped out with the pocket cinema and got some footage of that. Now I'll drive home.